we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
All right, welcome to episode 80 of the Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and a tired as fuck threat to society. Dude, I'll tell you something, man. I am just not geared for the long-ass holiday-type bullshit, man. I've never really been much of a fan of 4th of July anyway. I mean, it's 1,000 fucking degrees outside, and people want to stay up late and fuck around and horse around, and then, like, what are you really celebrating, man? I'm like, celebrating the independence. Like, independence from what? Independence from a guy who is going to tax you a little bit and tell you to use his pound sterling, where instead we're going to get shook down by tiny hats and taxed at every turn, and we're going to go set off fireworks to celebrate. But, you know, drinking a little America while it lasts, because it probably won't last for too fucking much longer. Anyway, yeah, I was going to record. Maybe I still will record in the morning when I got to go to the airport yet again. I'm ducking out to do some last minute errands before I get out of town for yet another exciting episode on the land. But, yeah, I had a minute, so I thought I'd record something. Because, dude, I was talking about, like, yeah, I should just, like, record real quick, you know, when I think of something, or when I got something to put out. But then, partly I'm a lazy fuck, but also, you know, I have 100 things going at once. So when I'm doing 1,000 things half-assed, it's hard to remember to do things that I mean to do, like, you know, record and rant and keep motherfuckers entertained. Because I'll tell you something, while I was sitting around, especially I think you notice on these holidays, that, like, there really does become like a content desert. Like, what the fuck? Does anybody have anything of any fucking interest to say anywhere at all? And often as not, no, not really. And I mean, 4th of July posting, I'm not going to get into the weeds too much on that. Because I'll tell you something else. So, like, I'll, you know, do some America kicking when the mood strikes me. But this shit of, like, Europeans or whatever wanting to talk shit, fucking America, bro. Like, get fucked. Shut up. Shut your fucking dick holster. It's my shitty country. I'll do the insulting here. Otherwise, you can piss off. But what it reminds me, though, there was a German dude in the chat that said, "What's up?" And I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. But yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to the gents neck deep in occupied territory, man. Shout out to the German bros. And as much as I like complaining about literally everything, and I do enjoy a good complain, it is, to me, I want to remind, a huge, huge privilege to be able to talk to, especially people, you know, our guys on other continents having it a whole fuck of a lot worse than we are. It's a privilege to be able to run my mouth at all and have anybody listen to anything I'm saying. Because if I could put out at least one or two decent ideas, and somebody's going to walk out there on another continent, in another country, maybe, you know, coffee translated to, you know, 3 or 4 different languages, and they're going to share some ideas, dude, that to me is a monster privilege. So, you know, before I resume my black-pilledness, I wanted to extend thanks to, you know, not just the German dude that I talked briefly with in the chat, but to all the bros, wherever you is, whatever you's doing. Good looking out. Keep it up. All right. Back to live action. So, yeah, retardation runs wild on the U.S. mainland. I wanted to throw a quick 2 cents in on this debate bullshit. Because, like, yeah, I actually sat up and watched that horse cock of a spectacle. And it was about what you'd expect. And I'll tell you one thing, one single things that I find interesting as time goes along is that the average, you know, your average goy, your average content consumer is becoming more discerning. Like the way that politicians pivot, you know, when somebody asks them a question or like the moderator asks a question or poses a question, like, you dipshit, you got 2 minutes to talk about this. And how they've got that canned frozen chunk of whatever they wanted to say, but it doesn't quite fit. They got something they want to say about economy, but they're talking about a question about foreign policy, and they shift it back to like, well, I wanted to say this thing about the economy, and they just pivot back to it. And what I think we really always going to improve our standing on the international stage by a focus on our economy. And here's my frozen chunk on the economy. And I remember, man, like it was a really long time ago when you wouldn't be able to recognize that because nobody fucking tells you. Like nobody really tells you. Nobody's going to explain. Like fucking CNN's not going to explain to you, like, look, here's what he's doing. It's called a pivot. And he's got something he wants to talk about. So the question that gets put out, he's going to shift it so he could spit out this frozen chunk and it's supposed to sound really good. Like you're just some dickhead in a living room. And it just gets spit out and you're like, I guess, fucking whatever. But listening to these two clown dicks talk was like, man, you just see it left, right, and center. And all the commentary, there were so many different places doing like live stream commentary. And I started to listen to one, but I also wanted to watch because I wanted to see, if Biden's lights were going to go out. And I wanted to see if Trump was going to act like a fucking weirdo off to one side or something. But, that kind of happened. But what I did, I couldn't watch and listen at the same time. So I was like, fuck this, man. I'll just fucking watch. But all the after action I saw was like they hit on all these things. So all this shit that would have flown, fucking 80s, 90s. I mean, even the 2000s, where it's like these slick fuck little tricks of like pivoting here and refocusing there and reframing arguments, all this kind of shit. Like people call it out just left, right, and center. Like, I see what he did. Did you hear what he did there? And like, whoa, people get caught on it. But I think what they've done now is just shift to these like pure comment section caliber fucking responses. I mean, the post game on CNN, man, like I kind of had started tuning out because it was just becoming so lame. These two clowns started arguing about golf. Like, who's got I've seen his swing, terrible swing, worst swing I've ever seen. And it was like, what? This is stupid, So I just kind of started tuning out. But the after action was like, I mean, this chick on CNN just comes right out and is like, so we know that President Trump, he tends to spout lies. And spout is one of my favorite libtard words, I think. You ever notice like these fucks, they use these words? I'm sure we do it too. I mean, based. It's fucking based, right? But that's kind of obvious. But they use these words, and I think spout is one of my favorites, dude. He's just spouting misinformation. He's spouting lies. He's spouting hatred and the spouting. I love the spouting. But then the other one was another one that I like hearing is folks. I'm just doing this for folks. And like folks, I think used to be, I don't know, maybe, a few decades ago or something, folks, you think of that as like just Joe Lunchbox, going about his business, living his life, going to cash a check, fucking picking up some shit at the grocery store, stubbing his foot on a chair. See, it's these folks. He does what folks do. Look, these just regular folks. But now I think folks, in terminology has shifted to like, we just want to do something for those folks out there. And folks is now a reference to like obese women with blue hair and men who suck dick and this kind of thing. So this is what folks has come to be equated to. So now when libtards say, we want to do something for those folks always means degenerates and people from other countries who are here for the gibs. Like it definitely doesn't mean you. You guy with a job, guy trying to keep the lights on. What are you going around with your straight male attitude, trying to look out for your kids? What kind of animal are you? You're not the sort of folks we had in mind. So that's another one of my favorite libtard terms. But this debate dick dance, man, I was really watching and hoping that Joe Biden would get a fucking blue screen of death. And I thought there was one point there. I thought it was going to happen. And I don't even remember what the question was. I don't think it was a hard question. I think it was about immigration. And neither of these fucking jerks would even touch it, dude. They wouldn't go anywhere near it. But the moderator, one of the two Hebrews moderating this dick dance, was talking about, like, there's a lot of talk and a lot of concern about the immigration issue, and for people whose immigration status might not be completely 100% above board, which essentially means you just being here is a crime, like illegal spouses of American citizens. So it was weird, because like what she was trying to say was, like, if there's an American citizen married to someone who is an illegal alien, do those people have to worry? So my immediate question, my immediate thinking goes to some of these scams that you hear of like, yeah, I want citizenship, man, just marry me and then we can do this thing and you throw me some money and this and that and the other. Because, like, if you're married to an American citizen, then your pathway to residency, green card, citizenship is pretty much straightforward. I mean, it's right fucking there. And even for your extended family. I mean, Jesus, I was somewhere a couple months ago and I saw, like, it was painfully, clearly obvious what I was looking at. We walked into this restaurant and there was this old dude, an old dude with this much younger Asian woman. Not much younger, like in regular years, but much younger than him. This guy had to be, late 60s kind of a thing, and this woman couldn't be 50. And I realized that, with Asian women, they look like they're either 18 or 80. But this was, it was clear what happened here. Like, this guy was some kind of schlub, and he was in some Asian country, and he's got this bar girl, so he's got her and wheels her back to the States. And now they've got their entire extended family, man, an entire extended Asian family hanging out in this restaurant, and they're all bok with each other. And this guy's just sitting there like the man that time forgot, like just... Like, you were very much just a fucking ticket to the land of the big PX, and now you're just like, sit the fuck there. You had your couple of good weekends, where you were banging the much younger girl that you rented from whatever shitbox bar you were hanging out in, and now she's here soaking up that retirement, soaking up that money, soaking up that good American life, and her whole extended family is here with you, man, because that road to citizenship for all those people. I mean, I imagine if you're listening to this, you probably have heard of this stuff, but your path to citizenship, I mean, is basically paved in gold. I mean, it's a done deal. So if it's basically a linkage thing, where if you're married to an American citizen, your fucking citizenship is basically push button. Unless it can be demonstrated that this was a scam from the get-go, in which case, maybe complications arise. But if it's like, yeah, this guy's married to, this Thai bar girl or whatever, and it's no accounting for taste, but she's married to him, he's married to her, so she's going to get that citizenship. And as soon as she's got it, chain migration, here we go, man. And her family, her folks, her brothers, her sisters, as soon as they're through the door, their kids. So it's an industry, man. And it was, you look at this stuff and it's like, it's very clear how this functions. And around military bases, you see this shit in spades, dude. I mean, you see this shit is rampant. So when I hear this during this debate, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this isn't even a topic for discussion. Like, should they have to worry? They've never had to worry. So who's kidding who? But they asked that, and Trump does one of these pivots like, I want to go back to the thing that we mentioned about Ukraine. I want to be very clear on this. Very clear is what I need to be. He was saying something that was not entirely true. And like, he just blew it off altogether, never mentioned a word about immigration. Fucking Joe Biden, dude, this motherfucker locked up. I mean, this motherfucker locked up like a 1970s Ford, dude. He was cooked. He's standing there and he says some shit about, well, look, that's why we did that's what we did, why we did what we did, so that everyone would have access to the COVID, something about COVID, and that, well, and then he just locked up and like, I was like, oh shit, there he goes, and I thought for sure he was gonna be stuck on stupid. Then he kind of bobbled out of it for a second, and he's like, what? Look, that's why we did what we did. We finally beat Medicare. And the fucking moderator, Hebrew 1, is like, thank you, Mr. President, just like cut him off right there. Like, okay, yeah, he just had a little bobble. Let's fucking shut him up and shift so we can get this thing down the road. But I mean, it was very clear the gears were locking up. So long and short, man, on that presidential bullshit, what it looks like, and I mean, you're probably hearing all the same shit, but I'm listening to a few different outlets, and I'm listening to a couple European outlets, and they're giving some interesting takes on what they hear as well. And what it looks like is happening is that Democrats as a group are finally starting to come to terms with the fact that, like, we can't really sell this shit to people anymore. Like, if times were good, you know, it'd be like, who gives a fuck, dude? Let the retard run, you know? The guy's not rowing with both oars. It's okay, man. Everything's fine, dude. You know, if it was the 80s, it'd be like, who gives a shit? Hell, we let an actor be president in the 80s. I mean, now we just pay billions to some actor on the other side of the planet. But that's, again, another horse for another day. But, you know, times ain't good. Times are real fucking bad. And no matter how much they try to Soviet radio you into the idea that, like, no, man, the economy's it's fucking banging, dude. It's banging. You know, he inherited a shit sandwich, and he's really made the most of it. So, you know, you can't knock the guy. Like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Like, shit is rough, dude. I really don't know how some cats are getting by, man. I mean, times is hard, dude. You walk into a grocery store, dude, you're walking out of there minus one leg, dude. Times is hard. So to try to sell people on the idea that, like, no, you're fine, you're doing really well, you're doing better than your parents did, nobody's buying that shit, all right? Looking at a situation where you've got 3 wars going out there. You got the China situation, you've got the Israel situation, and you've got the Ukraine situation. And granted, the China situation, yeah, that's not hot yet. But I mean, it's about as hot as Chinese people get. Because these fuckers, I mean, from everything I'm seeing, is like these people kind of just pussyfoot around and dick around just at a constant rate, dude. They're always, I'm telling you. And then maybe someday way down the fucking road. But I mean, you know, it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass that has to be dealt with. And I guess specific to that China situation, I had heard a deal where I guess the Chinese have been breaking balls on Filipino fishermen, you know, on the territorial waters kind of shit. So they're fucking with them, and I guess there was some guy that lost a hand or lost a thumb, or, you know, trying to get clarity through Filipino news outlets. I mean, best of luck on that. But, you know, why break balls on the Philippines? Well, if you break balls on the Philippines, you're basically breaking balls on the U.S. Because now it becomes like, look, man, the U.S. can't fucking protect you. You should side up with us, man. Look at this. I'm gonna stop your boats. I'm gonna cut one of you guys' hands off. You can't do shit about it, man. You can't do a fucking thing. So, come on, man. Let's get on board here. It's dodgy business. So if they can encroach on them, they encroach on, you know, Japan, any of this shit, then it starts becoming like, well, look, these Americans can't help you, dude. And it's a thumb in the eye of the U.S. Not that we should even be over there fucking around. I'm not saying that at all. I don't have any interest in that. I'm just saying that that's the situation as it is. So with all of that shit going on, now it becomes this thing of like, well, how the fuck, you know, are you going to entrust this situation to this guy that can't walk down 2 steps? Because I don't know if you saw afterwards, man, like that debate deal, like his wife / former babysitter had to come and help him walk down the steps. Like, come on, sweetheart. There's only like 2 steps, but she had to come and like hand carry this guy down those steps. And people by the next morning were talking about, like, yeah, this guy's got to fucking go, dude. Like, this guy is a bad look. We can't sell this no more. No one's buying this anymore. And there's been a lot of back and forth. So a lot of the talk that's out there is that there's basically 2 camps. There's the Kamala camp. And, you know, like the DEI thing, like you're being fucking, how do they say, hoisted on your own petard, you know, as I've heard say in more than a few places, that like you've got this woman thing, you got this immigrant thing, you got this woman of color thing, but now you got to fucking own that shit, dude. You got to own that shit. And if you don't give this woman a seat at the table, now what? You're basically bullshitting. You're not walking it like you talked it. So what are you going to do now, sweetheart? So they're kind of on they're kind of on the bubble there as to what they're going to do. But further, I guess the concern is that if they shit can Joe Biden, all the funding that's there for that guy can't just get handed off to whoever else. It could be fucking anybody. It could be fucking Peter Pan, their butt gig, Pete Pan butt gig. They try to get him in there. They try to get Gavin Newsom in there to butt fuck the rest of the country like he does to California. Or they're talking about just leaving Gorilla Harris in place. And, you can't just hand this money off to whoever else. You can't just do the old switcheroo. But what I understand they are talking about is if they officially nominate this guy and then he goes tits up, whoever he names as his vice president might be able to assume that role and just say, yeah, no, it's for instance, Gorilla Harris. Like, it's going to be Biden-Harris part 2, right? So now if he goes away but she's still there, it's like, well, no, you'll still be voting, technically bunny ears for him, but it's going to be her. But it's a tight spot because that woman is fucking retarded. I mean, being Montel Williams' piece of ass. I mean, dude, our country is basically, well, at least in the puppeteering sense, governed by people's pieces of ass. I mean, obviously, Joe Biden ain't making decisions. That's not a fucking secret. But, I mean, who is calling the shots right now? And everything you see with a lot of these interviews is that, well, according to Jill Biden, and Jill Biden, they keep insisting on calling her Dr. Jill Biden, Agent Dr. Jill Biden, get to the blowjob factory right away, because this broad only got to where she is because she used to be the babysitter for fucking crackhead Hunter and his now dead brother. So she starts fucking the senator, and now next thing you know, wham, bang, boom, you're stepped into, the wife position, and now I don't know where she got this doctorate thing from. Maybe she did it like this homeschool thing, like I just saw, but I'll get to that forthwith. But yeah, man, I think she, goddamn, imagine that woman's life, dude. Like, you started out as a babysitter. You probably got hit on like a motherfucker by this senator. You finally give it up. And now, like, you just decided, I imagine that she just decided at some point, like, you know what, I'm in for a penny, I'm in for a pound. And just sucked and fucked and turned a blind eye to all manner of filth and fucking degeneracy. And said, I'm going to ride this fucking train all the way to the end of the fucking line. And I've had to chug enough jizz that I'm going to fucking make this pay. And now, that she's in that first lady position, she's basically, a de facto ruler. Whatever the man says, that's what it is. And, she'll be the interpreter for this, and she'll let you know what's going to be what. So she's basically running a whole country. And then right behind her is who? Montel Williams' former piece of ass. And I don't know if you've seen that floating around, but there's that clip of her floating around. Gorilla Harris showing up at some Hollywood event in the 90s as one of 2 hoes on the arm of Montel Williams. And if you don't know who that is, he used to be a talk show host. He had this shaved head thing, and if you don't know who it is, he is the dude. There's a clip that floats around in our channels and things. There's a clip floating around where you'll recognize it. There's a black dude, kind of this good old boy looking black dude wearing a set of fucking overalls of all things. And he's on this talk show, and they hand him the microphone, and he stands up and he says, oh, what most people don't understand is that the original slave owners were brought here by Jewish merchants. And there's the talk show host that's like, wait, like trying to talk over him, like, no, don't say words, no. That's Montel Williams. All right, that's the fucking guy that was that clip was on that show. And Gorilla Harris, that's one of his former pieces of ass. And I guess she also got ahead by, I can't remember who it was. It was, I want to say like the mayor of LA, and I can't remember the dude's name. I cannot remember the guy's name. I see his face, but anyway, she was also that guy's piece of ass that pushed her into the attorney general spot. So I think she started out as Montel Williams' piece of ass, shifted over to this guy's piece of ass. She got the attorney general spot, and then, who she blew from there, who the fuck could say? But long and short is America is basically run by prostitutes. I mean, it always has been in, a lot of ways. But now by outright prostitutes, vindictive hookers. I think that's the winner right there. Because I think, some cats at least, LBJ for sale, yes. Does the bidding of Hebrews, yes. But, vindictive and cackly, maybe a little bit simple and, not too bright. But now it's just vindictive hookers. Like, I'm going to make everybody pay. I'm going to make everybody suffer because of what I had to go through. So here we all are all. Hooray, hooray. But, what I was mentioning earlier, man, the thing about the mail order PhD, right before I started this thing, I saw this Twitter post, man, because I don't really ever look at Twitter. I can't do a fucking thing with it, man. I don't know, maybe I'm shadow banned or maybe I'm just not that fucking popular. I couldn't say. But I was looking at the Twitter for a second and there was this post from the New York Times. I think it was in a couple of fucking sites, but it was on like Garbaggio Human or something. And it's this story about a 17-year-old colored girl who just got her PhD. And the headline is like, finished her master's at 14, finished her PhD at 17. And I'm like, motherfucker, dude. And, look, dude, I'll go out there and say like, oh, anything's possible. I mean, winning the lottery is possible, right? Balancing on the head of a pin is possible. But probable, not so fucking much. And when you look at the picture of this thing, is like this young Nubian princess has got that hair plastered to the forehead look. She's got them big ass, gold ass, hoop ass earrings and some fake eyelashes. And I have to ask myself, is this the look of an academic prodigy? This doesn't smell like academic prodigy to me. This smells like diversity, equity, and inclusion. This smells like bullshit, long and short. I guess what's so fucking insulting about it is that I've been accused of being a smart guy once in a while. Like, generally, I'm kind of a dumb fuck, but I've been accused of smartfulness, on rare occasion. And I did end up spending some time in the academic scene, which I will warn you now, if you don't waste your time on this fucking bullshit, dude. If you're not looking for a job, if you're not looking to be a doctor or an architect or an actual engineer, don't fuck around and waste your time getting a goddamn degree in fucking Elizabethan art history or some kind of shit like this. This is fucking stupid. But I did waste the time. I actually didn't waste any money because I used, the whole GI Bill fucking thing. And man, do they see you coming with that shit. But I did spend some time doing that. Did the grad school fucking thing. And I will tell you what, dude. I did a master's degree and then I did an all but dissertation on a doctoral program. And I will tell you what, I have never felt so fucking ripped off or stupid in my whole fucking life, dude. Because when I started working on this dissertation thing, like, it became very clear very early on that, like, this is a gate-kept fucking community, dude. And you have to kiss the asses. Like, the concept behind the PhD is that you add something to the body of knowledge, right? That's kind of their little bunny ears thing, is that you contribute something, you add something. And their version of knowledge, this is something that we know for sure, but as defined by we, the academics, we, the 1,000-pound brains who decide on what's true and what's not according to our little standards, they're the ones that decide what is actually true, what is, bunny ears knowledge. And you, as a prospective PhD, have to add some little teeny tiny piece to it. So the big problem with that is, one, is they will decide whether your contribution is valid or accurate or adheres to their standards. And two, the problem is what they already consider knowledge is very, very, very much colored and tainted and gate-kept by a bunch of fucking bought and paid for and owned men. All right, these motherfuckers have no spine, no balls. Whatever the fucking flavor of the day is, they will fucking say it. All right, I mean, geocentric universe, right? Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'm not burning at the stake for nobody. Yeah, it's absolutely 100% fucking true, and I have the science to prove it. Yeah, right, motherfucker. So when I started on this shit, I spent over a year on page 1, introduction, and I'd write this shit out, and they're like, And then I had like 3 different advisors. They're like, yeah, no, do it again. I'm like, look, dude. And after, it got to the 1 year point, and I'm not really paying attention, to the time or the cost because I'm not personally paying for it. It's all on GI Bill, right? But it appears that their thinking is it like, yeah, man, we milked this motherfucker for all of his GI Bill. And then once he's into his own pocket, then, we get as much out of him as we can. And then, okay, fine, here, ominous dominus, your dissertation's good, get the fuck out of here. But at the 1 year point, when I still had plenty left, and I'm like, look, shithead, like, I ain't 25 over here, dude. I haven't got the rest of my natural fucking life to work this out. So why don't you tell me what it is you don't like about the 1 page that I've got written so far, and then we can go from there. And the feedback I get is like, yeah, I don't know. Read through the guidelines, just start again. Just go ahead and start again. But it became very obvious that, like, because, the way I talk to you all is not exactly the way I would talk academically, but still some of the flavor is going to seep through. So it became very obvious very fast that, like, oh, you're that one fucking guy. Yeah, you ain't getting through here, friend. And I'd had some people say, like, well, dude, you should look at a different program. And the issue with that is, like, even though you're talking about, as a PhD, contributing bunny ears to the body of knowledge, the body of knowledge and the way you contribute to it is differentiated a little bit between institutions. So you go to a new place, you want to take some of your credits, right? And you want to go to fucking Acorn State over here. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, but see, you didn't do a lot of this academic work here. So, like, you'd kind of have to, like, start over, So if you're cool with that, I mean, yeah, we could do that. But, otherwise, bro, I don't know if, So, as, the honored body of knowledge goes, it does kind of depend on who you pay that tuition money to, right? So I spent a lot of time doing that shit. And granted, like, I was active duty for part of it when I started grad school, so I spent a good long while. But I mean, I was putting some fucking hours in, and it ain't a fucking quick process. It's not at all like your basic undergrad shit, which is kind of an extension of high school, which is like basically get something on paper and get it fucking turned in, and that's half the battle. Whether or not it makes any fucking sense or it's coherent, some of that can be subjective. So, I mean, if like half of it's subjective, just you having something written and turned in, you're already around the 70% mark, all right? Beyond that, now if you can get some actual quality, make some actual points, you're going to be fucking good. It's easy. This ain't like that, man. Motherfuckers can turn you right around. It can be very much like, well, I just didn't like the way you put this together. Yeah, I just thought your opinion was shit. So go fuck yourself. So, yeah, as you might imagine, like, I spent a lot of time fighting with motherfuckers on some pretty simple things, dude. Like, I had this one bitch honestly try to tell me, a professor, a fucking PhD professor, try to fucking tell me that, well, I swear to God, said this to me, race is a social construct. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, are you fucking stupid? I had this other guy, I had a PhD economist try to tell me that, like, yeah, it's a company's right. If they want to offshore to China, you have no reason to complain, and they have as much of a right to do that and still be a part of this society. And I said, okay, well, if you're going to be all Han Solo like that, you want to be Mr. Atlas Shrugged, what are you going to do when I wait for you in the parking lot? Who's going to come and help you? Because you fucked over everybody you could have helped. Nobody owes you shit. What are you going to do when I'm waiting for you? And the guy looks at me kind of weird, and I was like, I'm not going to physically wait for you in the parking lot, shithead. I'm just illustrating a point. Right? You can't get through this shit alone. But yeah, you spend a lot of time fighting with these fucks. And honestly, I would have gotten through a lot of things a lot quicker probably if I just kept my fucking mouth shut and, progressed and so on. But the point is that this ain't like a quick process. Not on the best of days. Never going to be a quick process. So when I see this thing of like young Nubian princess girl finishes PhD by 17, I'm like, all right, look, motherfuckers. I'm like, so you finished a PhD by 17. That's going to be 3 years if you're hauling ass. Like, hauling fucking ass. So that puts you at 13, 14. You finished a master's before that. And again, that's going to be a good 2-3 years if you're hauling ass. So that puts you at what? 10, 11? You finished a 4-year degree before that, and there's not really a way you can haul ass because you got to actually sit and write and read some shit. All right, you do actually have to show up. That's, a huge part of the grade, just showing up, but you still have to do it. So what's that put you at? Like 6, 7 years old? Bitch, you didn't start going to college at 6 or 7 years old. Fucking stop it. You're fucking embarrassing yourself. All right, but this is where we are, where we, hand papers to African kids and say that they're smart, and now you let them design skyscrapers and whatnot. And what do you think's going to happen? I don't know. What could possibly go wrong, right? Anyway, what one of the dudes was asking about in the chat, man, Operation High Jump, this thing with Antarctica. I'll tell you what, man, before I was doing the work that I was doing now, well, let me preface it this way. When you get out of the special operations scene, and I have talked to a bunch of dudes, and everybody says the same fucking thing, the exact same thing. When you leave, like, you really think that your phone's going to be ringing and people are going to be stoked as soon as you hand in a resume and you're like, I'd like to work here. And they're like, oh, fuck, yes. And like, they're going to, be beating on your door, and there's going to be a limo out front to drive you to your first day because they're so fucking stoked to have you there. Nothing could be further from the truth. They're basically like, one, you might be a fucking screwball, some kind of psycho. We don't want your weird ass in here. Or two, it could be a situation where they know you have a kind of a work ethic, because that is something you come away with, is like, well, basically, because if you're not putting out, somebody's going to beat the shit out of you. You learn that as a young guy, like, you better at least look busy or you're going to get taped to something. And you're going to show up with this work ethic, make everybody else look like an asshole, so I don't want you here for that reason either. So you already got 2 strikes against. Plus, you don't know anybody from anywhere. You didn't go to no proper college. You weren't in some fraternity. So who do you know anywhere? You don't have any history with whatever company it is you're applying to. So basically, you're Mr. Unpopular the day you even apply. So you ain't getting no fucking job. So when I got out, man, before I had the gig that I have now, I was working on trying to find just something to keep the lights on, man, like contract work, anything, dude. And I did get one offer to go back to Afghanistan, and I was like, fuck that. Like, the place sucks anyways, even with the gunship overhead and drone support and a QRF. Like, that place sucks, dude. You can get dead really fast there, and those motherfuckers don't mind. So I was like, yeah, no, I think I'll actually pass on Afghanistan. But other than that, I didn't get offered fucking anything. So when you get out of the military, and I guess anybody can apply for this shit, but there's a site called USA Jobs, and it's all these government jobs, dude. So like, maybe post office. I don't know if they hire through there or what, but any government job. Like, if you go onto a base, like the fucking Filipino woman that works in the exchange, that fucks up your credit card or whatever, or, you go to fucking Subway on a base somewhere, or any government facility, dude, all that shit gets hired through this USA Jobs site. And they have that. They have a classified version, which those jobs, they pay a lot better, but it just looks like working with classified is just incredible ass pain, dude. It's a miserable experience. And there's always going to be somebody who takes it way too fucking seriously. And they want to have you fired or have you on charges, because you forgot to turn the little unlocked sticker around, when you left, even though the shit was locked or some shit, There's always somebody that takes this shit way too serious. So it's like, dude, these are not good gigs. But times was hard, man. And I was like, fuck it, dude. Maybe I look at one of these fucking deals, maybe there's something I could find in here. And I'm looking. And then I see, like, there was actually a gig to tend bar on Antarctica. I was like, fuck, that would be fucking cool. Because like, I had read some of this shit, and I've seen the Hyperboria videos, bro. And I don't know how cooked up they are or how fake as fuck they are. But, man, I've seen these cool pictures of, like, I'm sure they're pretty fucking fake. But, like, look what, the ice tunnels and the here's the fucking pillars and the pyramids and all this shit on Antarctica, bro, and it was inhabited by, super Aryans, and I'm like, fuck yeah, that'd be the fucking shit. But, I ended up not pursuing that gig. I mean, if you ever seen videos of Antarctica, maybe the videos are the fake part. Maybe it really is shit hot, and they just put out shitty, miserable looking videos to make people like me want to not go there. But, yeah, it looks like a fucking drag, dude. It looks cold as fuck, dude. And I don't dig the cold so much, but I definitely don't dig sitting indoors, all the time either. I get fucking sketchy. So I was like, yeah, maybe that's not a good idea, dude. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Just on the off chance, maybe on the off chance that it's not Hyperboria, right? Maybe I don't do that. I haven't read, like if you look at the YouTube shit or you look at the Admiral Byrd or whoever the fuck interviews and shit, and he says some stuff, but it's always like this clipped stuff, and it's like Admiral Byrd reveals the hidden truth behind Antarctica, what they don't want you to know. And I'm like, yeah, well, what though? What does he say, dude? Oh, it's crazy, bro. It's too secret and crazy. I'm like, well, fucking say it, fuckstick. I'd like to think that there's something there, man. I'm inclined to think. I'll tell you what I do think. Here's the best. Let me rewind a little bit. Like, first, I know that it's illegal to just show up there yourself. I actually had entertained the idea of like, dude, I wonder if you could just go to Argentina, go to like, what is that fucking Tierra del Fuego, like all the way at the southern end, and just get your own boat and go over there and see what you could see and fuck around. I'm going over here. I'm sneaking onto the continent, right? I wouldn't know where to fucking go. And two, it's a fucking continent. And it's fucking cold, so I'll probably fall through some fucking ice and get dead. There's probably people that have done that shit. And I'd end up at the bottom of some fucking crevasse with like 10 skeletons and like 12 beanie hats. Like, here's an extra beanie hat, shithead. Congratulations, you're skeleton number fucking 14. Lucky 14 skeleton. Not a good deal. I could see that happening though. But I do know that it's like illegal. There's some kind of fucking international treaty that's like, yeah, you can't just cruise in here. You can't just show up at Antarctica. I don't know how the fuck, honestly, they'd stop you. I don't know if they have the whole place mined or radared or videoed or what. But, it would be cool to cruise around. It makes me wonder why, it does make me wonder why you can allow Africans and Pakistanis and Mexicans or whatever to just pretty much wander into any corner of any country on the fucking planet, but me going to look at Antarctica is a big fucking no-go. That kind of pisses me off, and it makes a man suspicious, right? It makes a man suspicious. But I will say this, though, that the pyramids, like Egypt and shit, right? Like, you look at where you could see, like, oh, there used to be a river here, and there was palm trees here, and this, and there's all these depictions of, like, crocodiles and what have you, and all this shit. Or if you look at, I don't know, some of the details, like some of the spots around the U.S., like, look, this used to be a forest. There used to be a forest here where it's desert and dog shit now, right? So if all that used to be a different environment, then why the fuck could Antarctica not be a different environment? And if we know that, like, the North Pole kind of shifts a little bit every year, maybe the North Pole at one point was way the fuck over there, and where the Antarctica, where Antarctica is now maybe was like, Canada, like way further, what we think of as south. I don't know. I'm just fucking speculating, But, it would be cool to go there and look around, but obviously somebody's going to fuck that up. And two, I bet if you go there and look around, there's probably, it's probably like pyramids and murals of white people and, who knows? It's Yakub. It's Yakub coming from space to seed the earth with Africans and ruin everything and fuck everything up, Like these ones he baked next to some shekels and they came out with an extra large nose for sniffing out the ridges on coins. Who the fuck knows? That's what I think, man. I think it would be real cool to go and look around. As far as the flat earth tip, with like, oh, it's an ice wall, bro. It's an ice wall world. It's a window to another world, bro. I don't subscribe to the flat earth shit. Like, not at all. I'm always willing to entertain a wacky fucking idea. But help me, dude. Show me something. Like, show me a model where the sun doesn't plunge into the ocean twice a day or what the fuck ever. Some kind of crazy shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, none of these models make any fucking sense, dude. So, I mean, show me that and I'll be all about it, dude. Like, yeah, that's cool. That's a great idea. But you don't ever see that. You don't get to see that. All you get to see is like a guy with a fucking mullet and a serious Pringles issue talking about, how they're trying to keep him down. Like, bro, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. You can talk flat earth all you want. Start talking about what didn't happen in Poland, and now tell me about fucking suppressed information. Oh no, that apparently just became illegal in Sweden. I thought it was illegal already. But, as long as they're making it illegal to talk about, immigrants who rape people or immigrants who murder kids, you can be mad, but you can't badmouth them. Otherwise, you're going to get locked up for more time than they are for the actual crime. It's also illegal now to question the official 6 bajillion narrative. I mean, what the fuck else is new, right? I got to go knock out some errands, man, but I think I'll get some more thoughts down here in the immediate future, man, because I'll have a little bit of time. But until then, oh yeah, I also gotta make notes, dude, of like what the fuck exactly are my fucking socials, because I like hearing from motherfuckers, hey, out and about in the wilderness and shit. But trying to remember what account number 13, 14, and 15 is, I ain't so good at it. I'll get that ironed out for next time. But as it is then, until we meet again, get out there, keep your eyes on the horizon, and keep your neck out of the noose. I've been Coffee, and these are my takes.